Alright, so let's talk about what a compass is. A compass is a tool that you use for drawing circles. It also makes measurements on maps and things like that. There are, of course, it's a mathematical tool and there's a whole lot of different uses for it. This usually holds something in like a pencil, like a little pencil. This is just a little pencil lead, and this little wheel turns to tighten or loosen, so you can put a different lead in, a different color or whatever. This one's kind of an antique, and it's kind of fancy. But you can also get these at Walmart for like, they're plastic. This one's metal, and it's really, really old, you guys. But to tighten it up, you turn these, and very gently, and it makes these come closer together to make a smaller circle. This pokes a hole in your paper. You put this in the center where you want your circle to be, and then you just drag it around, and it makes a nice circle. I'm just going to show you a little bit of the circle because that's a compass. Then we have these guys. In the classroom we use these. I want to show you how to use this one so that you don't have to have the one that has the sharp tip, and the pencil's always getting lost, and these are just kind of a pain. But these are kind of cool. They don't have, the only metal they have on them is this tiny little rivet right here, and that is just to use for holding your center in place. You don't have to actually poke a hole in your paper to mark your center, okay? And I'm just going to make a bunch of circles just to show you the different kinds of circles you can do. Now this little middle part pops in and out, and if you do get this, like if you get pencil marks and stuff all over it, then you can just clean it up in the sink with soap and water, which is also kind of nice. And you can hold this white part still and do any of these circles that you want to. I'm just going to make that circle and this circle. I'm holding this white part still and kind of holding the orange part kind of out of my way. And I'm going to make these circles you can just trace just as they are, okay? Then, that doesn't get any bigger than this circle though. To just trace a circle, this is as big as it gets in this white part, okay? However, if you hold the orange part now, then you've got all of these little dots, and those aren't just for making teeny tiny circles, because that just makes a dot, right? You drag these, you put your pencil inside that dot and drag it around. That gives you a dot that's a little bigger than that one, right? You can see my dot. Then, if I go, this is my center. If I go farther out from that and use one of these other dots, my circle gets a little bigger. I've been talking a whole bunch, you guys, so my voice is getting somewhat tired. And then out here is the biggest, farthest away one that's inside the white. So that's as big as I can get inside the clear part of my compass. Alright? Now, I want you to notice all of these tiny holes. Bum, 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 bum. So many holes. Out here and out here. Okay? So, what I do is I put my finger on the little metal thing. And if you'll look at the back of it, it's kind of grippy on the back. And if you know it's the back because it's the flatter part. And it's also, the word compass is right side up if you're looking at the front of it. Okay. Now, I can hold my finger on there, and while I'm holding down, this gets just a little bit more tricky, only because you kind of have to hold that down and send this around your finger without moving things around. And if I forget which hole it is, I can just look and see where the rest of my circle is and get it back pretty quick, okay? This circle's a little bigger than that one because I hopped from this to that. So if I turn this around here, you can see that's not very far apart. I went from this circle to that circle, so it's only that much bigger, Alright. Now, there are also measurements along here. There's inches over here, and over here are millimeters. So I can do I can measure my circle. I can have a 2-inch circle if I want. Let's go with like a 1.5 inch circle. Between my 1 and my 2 is a mark right there. So that gives me this circle right here. And the middle of it can be anywhere you want the middle to be. I'm just going to put it here away from my others so that you can see. And this 1.5 is right here. And that gives me 1.5 inches away from the center, which is not a 1.5 inch circle, okay? That would be like a 3 instead of a 1.5. It goes from 0 is here, so I went to 0, then I went over to the 1, and then another half. And then you can measure your circle with these things, and you can get a ruler too, because my circle is a little bit bigger than my little 4 inches here. So I can get my ruler and measure across my circle. That's not the middle, so that's not going to be a true measurement. But you mark where your middle is, then you can measure your circles. And this is fun practice for using your ruler. And making circles is kind of fun, you guys, I gotta admit. So if I want to, I can keep going and make all kinds of circles all over my paper. I want to show you the biggest circle that this thing can make. So roughly the middle of my paper. This one may or may not even fit on my paper, you guys, but I'm going to see if it does. It really does not. Look at that. It goes, whoop, it goes way off my paper. I'm going to press a little harder so you can see it better. That goes off my paper, doesn't it? And then I can keep going though. I want to show you how big that circle is. Like if I'm drawing the moon or the sun, or I just want a circular area in my paper. I did all of these circles with that tool, that compass. Alright. And let's turn this circle into a bubble. I'm just going to do that. Then I'm going to make a straight line here and do this, and it looks like it's a shiny little bubble. And if I do that in all of these, just make a little do like that, just make that come up and straight at the top. It looks like they're bubbles, doesn't it? Bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. Ta-da! They start to look like bubbles. And you can go back and kind of erase the edge so it's not so dark, and go back with a little blue pencil or crayon and make them whatever color you want. If I color this all in blue, it's going to look even more like a bubble. Bubbly, bubbly. Okay. I just wanted to show you that. It's just for fun. Okay. Just make bubbles. It's a cool tool to have around the house. You can find these pretty much anywhere where you find notebooks and things. I think they have them at Walmart. I don't want to tell you that and then have them not be there. So don't go make a special trip. Just when you're headed there anyway, just see if you can find one. And I'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot.